Well, hello, and welcome to another FAQ Monday. I'm your host, Fluff, and if you have a question, feel free to leave them down below or go on over to my Ask FM account thing, and maybe we'll get you squared away, or maybe we won't, but eventually we probably will, let's be honest. First question! I want to do tutorials on how I go about getting my tone, but I just can't seem to get the grasp of recording the sound separate from the DAW. How do you go about recording a live video capture from within your DAW? So when I do tutorials, for years, I did it the following way. I would run something like ScreenFlow 6, which I still use, to capture the screen. Don't use QuickTime if you're a Mac user. It's garbage for capturing screen. Use ScreenFlow, like ScreenFlow 5, 6, or I think they're up to 7 now. And in the audio section, I would capture the built-in microphone for my computer, okay? And that way, I'm using that as kind of trash audio to sync to later. I then take an output from like headphone output of my interface into something like a Tascam DR40, a handheld recorder, and I would hit record. And in addition to that, I would then set up my MacBook with an interface or another handheld recorder if I wanted to record a lav mic or a shotgun mic to record my voice separately from those three things. And using the scratch audio on the screen capture software, I would then sync everything in post. Now, that may sound complicated, but it was the one way that I knew to be sure something more software-based wouldn't crash, because that way, if any one thing went down, I would still have a redundant system capturing the audio if something went wrong. And a lot of the software-based screen capture / audio capture stuff that are all in one would bog down, they would lag, especially because I would be in the recording software running plugins and playing tracks and things like that. They just bogged down. So I would just record everything separately outside of the computer, save for the screen cap itself. Lately, after having switched to a Universal Audio Apollo 8, because they have, they basically have ghost channels in the mixing software, and you can assign those to be whatever they want. So what I do now is I open up Logic and I have my main audio for Logic not going to my stereo out, but a specific bus within the Apollo software. Then I have the system audio on another bus, and I'll route those two things to Adobe Audition, and I just hit record, minimize the software, and then bring up Logic, and all the audio is being captured within my computer by another application. I know that sounds complicated and confusing, but it's a universal audio thing, and it's made my workflow much, much simpler. So try those two ways. Those are the ways I have found through trial and error over many, many, many years of doing this. That was the one surefire way. Now, I know you guys are gonna comment, oh, do it this way, this is much easier. Yeah, but the quality would be garbage if you did it any other way other than those two ways. And I hated having bogged down, choppy audio and things like that. So yeah, that's how I do it. What are you doing right now? I'm drinking coffee and answering an FAQ Monday. I don't know. What do you think of some artists starting their own companies, like Ola Englund and Tosin Abasi? I back it, man. Honestly, I get asked this question a lot lately, especially at NAMM, and it's just kind of the logical step. There's a few different reasons why these guys want to make and create their own companies. A, they have total control over their vision of what they want to see in something. In this case, in these examples, instruments. They're gonna put their name on the line, but in return, they can ensure that what's being put out is what they want to be put out. And second, it's a legacy thing. YouTube will never last forever. A band will not last forever. A brand, if you do it correctly, can last forever. And the incentive, it's like guys like Zach Wild and Wild Audio, he's wanting to create something long-term that he can leave for his kids and his family and make sure his family is taken care of after he's gone. Now, that may sound morbid, but when you get Zach Wild's age, you do start to think like, well, what are my kids gonna do for income if I'm not here? So that's another incentive to start a company, because you can build something that they could potentially run after you can't or don't want to, and you just wanna go and spend all your time on a boat or something like that. So there's a lot of incentives, and there's a lot behind starting your own company, and you can't hate on that. You gotta respect all of that, and you gotta respect their visions. So, you know, to Tosin and Ola, more power to them, man. Do you have a preference on scale length? Not really. I mean, you know, for years I used to say 25.5-inch scale or nothing. Like I was super picky about it, I thought. And then I'd, you know, play a Paul Reed Smith and think, okay, that's really good. Like 25-inch scale is really, really nice. And then I got into Gibsons, and you know what? I don't really care about scale length. If I had to pick one, I would definitely pick a 25.5-inch scale, just because I like the tension of strings at that scale for the tuning I use, etc., etc. In some guitar shapes, a smaller scale length looks funny to me. So it's just all about aesthetic and feel. But overall, I don't know, not really, man. I mean, it just depends on the guitar. Now, would a Strat feel weird at a Gibson scale? Yeah, probably. And would a 25.5-inch long scale Gibson Les Paul feel kind of weird and look weird? Yeah, it does, in my opinion. So maybe that's just because we're used to those things. I don't know, but yeah, scaling, whatever, man. Just let me play. And now Fluff reads a tweet. Hiccups are like jazz for breathing. My suggestion to you this week is checking out this video about the secrets of Freddie Mercury's voice and what, on a technical level, made Freddie Mercury really, really unique in the world of singing and music and technique. It's just a really, really interesting deep dive into the voice of Queen's Freddie Mercury. And, you know, if you're not a huge fan of Queen, or at least respect Freddie Mercury, you probably shouldn't be watching this channel. But yeah, this is just an amazing video. They really deep dive on a technical level, explain exactly what it was that he was doing for certain things and certain Queen songs and things like that. It's just, there's a lot in the video. I'm not gonna try to explain it all, but just know it's really, really awesome, and I thought you guys would enjoy it. All applicable links down below in the description. You have been wonderful. I've been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.